Okay, so there they are in my nice new oven. I didn't preheat it long enough. Should have preheated it a bit longer, but it'd be okay. I'll just leave them in. It'd probably take about 5 minutes to cook those like that. It's just blind baking them. If you blind bake them, it'll ensure that they're really crusty, the pizzas, which is what we like at home. Okay, there we have the rest of the bowls done. All I do is just chop them up, estimate it, and then if some are obviously bigger than others, I'll just chop a bit off, push it underneath the other one, and knead it in, roll it into itself. Slicer there, absolutely essential for where you're working with dough. Next pizza base, not a perfect circle, but rolled out, ready to go, and then I'll just stretch that on the actual tray itself. Okay, that's it, blind baked. Let's cook them all like that first. See, perfectly crispy. That goes over there to cool off a little bit, even though I'm not actually doing it to cool them off, just storing them as I do the rest. And I'll crack on through the pile. Okay, that's the stack of 10 there, the last 2 in the oven. And all I do is just part bake them, or blind bake them, whatever you want to call it. This makes for a better pizza. Okay, so I'm just about to build the first pizza, but a quick whiz around the ingredients. This board I use for rolling on, I'll turn it over. That's why I also cut them and build them on there. Yeah. Ingredients: black and green peppers, cheese already grated. It's not the lazy man's out, it's the cheapest that way, buying it already grated because they use all the stuff off the floor. Tomatoes, onions in there, and sliced mushrooms. That's the basic stuff. If you go beyond that, then don't add the ingredients when you're cooking it. Your meats and that, you slice them up and put them on after it's cooked, like the Italians do. That's how you do proper pizza. Parmesan, I like to add a bit of that because it has an in-depth cheesy taste. Some seasoning, using anything you want, salt, pepper, but it's got like a combination thing there. This adds a little bit of interest to it. Cheese, using the cheese you want. We just use English mature cheddar. Use mozzarella if you want to be absolutely authentic, but even use cheddar in Italy, believe it or not. Okay, that's the ingredients. So we're ready to build the first pizza. Always remember with pizzas, more is less. You can use these kind of sauces, they're all good stuff, cheap as chips. Iceland is even cheaper. You need 1 ladle full like that. With the sauce, make your own if you wish, if you're that way inclined. And spread it around, right up to the edges. La 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 la. Like that. This pizza base is already really crispy. Part baked. They're absolutely gorgeous. Okay. That's probably I'd say probably a bit too much tomato sauce, but it's okay. Right, first of all, now what you do now, put on your first sprinkling of cheese. First sprinkling of cheese, and that's literally all it is. You have a top and bottom sprinkling, and what it does, that will merge the base, all the layers together. Trust me. Like I say, any cheese you want, mozzarella, cheddar, your choice. We prefer cheddar because we find it stronger. So, right, there's your first layer of cheese. That's all you want. Any more than that, it is too much. Now, little layer of Parmesan cheese or Italian grated cheese, we've got to call it nowadays. Well, that goes over the top, and that just gives it a more cheesier taste. All this is from Italy, alright? Then you see your toppings as you require. We're doing Michael and Lauren first with veggies, so they get plenty of this stuff. Remember, don't be tempted to go over the top because all it'll do is just collapse inside. Get too big and difficult to manage. That's enough mushrooms. Yeah, the sauce I would argue that's too many. And then sliced onions. I did these on one of those sliced things you get from Asda or Wilkinson's. It's a special name for them, I can't remember what it is now. Obviously some sort of French name. Yeah. A sprinkle of onions, so thin. All these things are cooked so thin that they cook almost instantly. As soon as you get introduced to the heat, this is all cooked. Yeah, and then green olives. You always cut olives in half because if you don't, they tend to roll about on the pizza when you're building it. Stick them willy-nilly where you wish. Now remember, this piece of base is already pre-cooked, so all you need to do really now is get the topping melting. Some black pizzas. I think these really make a pizza, they make it look authentic. Look at the shape of the pizza, it's not perfectly round, it's a basic pizza shape. Like so, put it to the side, and then finish off with a really light dusting of cheese. And what this does is it keeps all the layers together, all the ingredients together, and stops them falling off. Okay, all tried and tested. So them do it in the Mediterranean, in the various countries. And then, just for interest, give it some speckles. Just finish off with a seasoning. It's an Italian seasoning. You can use salt and pepper, it's just as good. It goes on like that. Maybe take that off first. Okay. Salt and pepper works just as good, and that's it. Done. Pizza done. In the oven. First pizza out. There we go. I forgot to say earlier that I put a splodge of olive oil on there as well. So it comes. Like so. Piece of butter. One. Two. See how crispy that is. Three. Another one. Yeah. Plate. Coffee. Thin and crispy. You just don't get a thick crust in the Mediterranean. If you like a thick crust, you won't be getting it here. I will kill you if you ask for it. Okay. It was on the plate, like so. Like that. Bit of rocket to dress it, and bit of fresh onion. At this stage, if you want meats and that's where the Italians or the Nepalese or the masters of a pizza would add it. Always add it after the cook. Done. Finish.